was waking up screaming every single night, and he was saying that there was someone coming out of his closet. So, me being the mom, I would be in there with him, and more often than not, I'd fall asleep in his little race car bed. And I just kept trying to explain there's no one in the closet. Um, but it was every night. And every night, this thing was getting closer to him. And I was like, who is it? What does it look like? And he said it was a man who looked like a cat and walked on two legs. And I will never forget, my 2.5-year old telling me, and he goes, but his eyes, mama, his eyes are so blue. And I'm like, geez, that's really creepy and weird.
Yeah.
And finally, one night, I was just so frustrated because I was tired. I was working.
Right.
I was up every night with a baby and with him. And finally, I flung open the closet door and I'm like, there's nothing in here. And that's when I saw a box from our move, just marked games, that had a Ouija board. Now,
Oh.
I'm not anti Ouija boards. This is a different time. But back
Right.
then in that moment, I was like, "Oh gosh, we got to get that out of here." Um, and we did. We threw it away.
Hmm.
Again, didn't, not really knowing proper etiquette or such. But that went on for years, and eventually, life and other stress happens. That marriage dissolved,
Hmm.
and activity had never stopped, but I guess I noticed it more when I was alone because I kept the house. And that's when I was reaching out to a team for help.
Okay.
Um, that team said, we don't quite understand what's happening, and we want you to have a second opinion. So they gave me a few names. I did my research of these teams, and Paravisions was the one that drew me in. They seemed the most professional.
Hmm.
And so, the part of the Paravisions team at the time came out, investigated. Um, so eventually, that's how I came to meet Lee. And what we realized when we started talking and getting to know each other was that um, our children were the same ages. Um, he had his son and then a daughter. I was the same way, son and daughter, born in the same years. Um, my son's nursery was also Baby Looney Tunes. Like there were just so many parallels.
Yeah.
And we just started to really think that, in a
Yeah,
sense, this was
it,
almost like
yeah,
it was almost like Lee's second chance at a family. And, um, I certainly wasn't looking to meet anyone. He wasn't looking that I'm aware of.
Mhm.
But um,
That's usually when it all happens.
yeah, and it did. And I remember after we started seeing each other, and I told him that I would love to be involved with the team, that
Hmm.
I would need some training and such, but I would love to work on the team. And um, the unique part to that was I did bring the client side of things. There were
Right.
things that I witnessed when both teams were investigating my house that were alarming. Um, you know, Stuff like they came in, they didn't tell me what they were doing. Um,
Hmm.
the first team didn't they didn't even have me with them. I sat in my living room that whole time, and they were just scattered throughout the house. And I mean, when we investigate, we keep our clients very involved. Um, it's their home. They're
Right.
potentially a trigger. And so, also the fact that uh, if something happens and you get a little excited,
Oh yeah.
that's very frightening
I
to a
do all the
homeowner.
time.
Yeah.
She's and that's and I'm glad that I want to chime in and add her being on that side of the fence, being a client. To us paranormal investigators, when we're in a residential and we do get something, She's like, okay, calm down, because you're going to make them, we don't know which way they're going to go with it.
Right.
So I'm like, yeah, that's true. I'll calm down.
And it is hard, I mean, something happens and you're excited or startled.
Right.
But again, I very distinctly remember when the first team left, I'm like, okay, you stirred it all up and now you're leaving me alone.
Yeah.
It was very scary. And so, again, that's having gone through it, that's
and let me add
do.
to that too. She said that she wanted to learn. She didn't need much of that, because what she brings to the table, she doesn't understand it until we finally started telling her. You're opening up these, especially the wives, and you're actually opening it up to where, we go through so many residential cases that within minutes, she's explaining to them, okay, you're on this medication. This is the side effects. And we got to take that in perspective to where, I mean, I've walked in, I've walked into rooms where she's actually saying, you know what? You need to come in here. And she's had the woman crying.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm like, and then I'm sitting, and then remember the case, the mobile home.
I know. Yeah.
We investigated a mobile home. And so we're getting activity, me and two other guys, we're getting activity in the master bedroom and their bathroom. And we could not figure this out. Well, she's on the other end of the mobile home. And so she came and says, I need you to come in here. And so I go in, and this lady's sitting on the floor against the closet door, and she's crying. And I'm like, what did you do to her? That's exactly what I said. And she goes, well, you sit in here with me, because she said, I feel like I'm getting somewhere. So as she's doing that, I'm sitting by her, and all of a sudden I just fly back on my back, because I'm an empath, my ability. I felt like someone was scratching me all to hell. And I kept telling her, you need to look at my back. You need to look at my back. Well, this girl had no sight. She wasn't even paying attention to us. Lifts it up, my shirt. Sure enough, I was getting scratched. I'm squeezing her hand. She just said, just stick it out. Stick it out. We got to do it for the client. We got to do it for. And I'm like, I'm squirming all over this bed. And I was like, I don't know how much more you want me to take. But I said, I will, all I kept thinking is, I have to get her okay, because that's what we're here for. So, putting the shield up and praying and saying, God, okay, years ago I was trying to back away from this, but this is a test for me. And we're opening this lady up, and it really helped her. I mean, what Patty did that night, it really helped that client. It was really interesting. And but man, what you do for people, man, it's like, gee,
right.
And that was real. I mean, I'm sitting there and I'm squirming all over bed, like I'm like Linda Blair in The Exorcist. I'm all over the bed. I'm like, geez, hold on.
Oh, at least she wasn't throwing up and twisting your head around.
That right?
Thank God.
Right?
Yeah.
What says I have tequila in that cup? Oh no, I wished.
So I want to say hello to Azing from Indonesia, and Josh and Crystal. Welcome.
Hello, everyone.
And Colt, how you doing? It's nice to see new faces in here.
Yeah, I connected this to my since I set this up, I connected to YouTube and
hi, Elizabeth. Yeah, it's very interesting how things do develop when it comes to you guys meeting each other. And hey, Taryn, how you doing?
Where is she?
She's out. She had a birthday party to go to today, so
Patty, Patty, when she types into the chat, it actually doubles it. Well, one's YouTube and one, I don't know what the other. Well, they're both YouTube.
I don't know. I'm haunted.
So I got a question now. With this is for Lee.
Okay.
Now with the passing of your children early, do you feel that in the afterlife that that they actually still grow and age differently, or do you think they stay the same way?
I'm glad you brought that up because, like I said before we got on the air, we used to do a podcast. It was called Looking Into the Unknown. We were on Z Talk Radio at the time, and we had it on Thursday night. And Patrick and Jim, two members of that, they would come over and we would do it right here in the house, in the office where I'm at. And when they got done, we would usually go to get a milkshake and watch some Impractical Jokers, and then watch Jim. He couldn't handle people. Yeah, he couldn't handle people, joking on people. So he would slope down his milkshake and, I'm out of here. See you guys. Have a good night. Well, that night I go to bed. Now this is February 4th, 2016. No, 2015. So I got it written down. It's in a file. I had a dream that I woke up. I had needed some water, went downstairs, noticed that the light in the dining area was on. So I go around the corner and there's these two young people sitting there. This boy, his back was to me. He was talking to somebody. I could just see part of their shoulder. She would talk. It was a young girl. I didn't know who they were. So at the time, we used to like to punk each other, do stupid things. So I thought Patty and Patrick and Jim was punking me. And this is in my dream. And I'm thinking, okay, I'm going to go around this corner. And at that time, Patrick and Patty just bought these contact lenses that change colors and make your eyes look evil. So I'm like, they're going to have those on when I go around these kids. And so I go around, and as I go around them two kids made eye contact with me. And when they made eye contact with me, this is no joke, hand on a Bible, swear to God. Cool arms came around me and caught me and said, "These are your kids." All these years when my kids passed away, I've always pray every night before I go to bed, Lord, just give me a sign to let me see what my kids are doing and what they look like. And I got that wish that night, that morning, and it chokes me up just talking about it. And they started sharing things with me about me. And I'm just looking at them, and my daughter had a necklace on that we put on her when we buried her. But they looked healthy. So your answer to your question, yes, I know they age, but they don't forget.
Right. I'm always kind of wondering, what are they doing? I have a friend of mine that passed in 2020, and it's always a joke between me and his wife because we joke around because we do shows together. And he's probably jamming with Jimi Hendrix or trying to find people and pull pranks because he's kind of one of those people. And so just reading what Taryn's got going here.
Yep, that's what I just shared, Taryn.
Yeah. So, I mean, what did they express as to what they're doing where they are? I mean,
well, they really didn't. What they were really telling me is about, Dad, just, we love you. Just keep your head up. We're okay. And you know what? And when I felt those arms before they even said anything, and that whisper came in my left ear, that was the creepy part because I knew who that was. The Almighty himself giving me this opportunity, them sharing with me that everything's okay. Where they are is awesome. They weren't missing me, but they were missing. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't like they're like, "Oh, we want you with us." No, none of that. My daughter was so pretty with her long brown hair. My son with the dark hair. And I looked at him and I'm like, yeah, if the girl saw you today, son. And, I had dreams for them and I shared them dreams. Like, my son, I wanted him to play football so bad. And my daughter, I bought a 1967 Fastback Mustang when she was 3 years old. And I wanted her to drag race. Me and my ex-father-in-law, we bought this car. I put my heart and soul into it, put her in it. She loved it. And I said, this is your car. When you get old enough to drive, you're going to race this car. And she mentioned all this to me in this dream. And I jump up out of this dream and I wake Patty up and she says, write it down. So I come into the office, I'm writing everything down that I experienced, because if not, I may have forgot.
Right.
And I can't forget. You know what? It's something that's embedded into my heart. I'll never forget that night. I can still see them as if they were sitting right in front of me, like you and Patty right now. Everything about them, I can tell you to a T.
Oh, it's very interesting. Very interesting. Now, let's talk about dreams and stuff like that. Patty, what are your views on astral projection, and do you believe in it, or is it more of like vertigo, or not vertigo, but what's the word I want to say here? Like Final Destination type deal, like premonitions.
Personally, I do think astral projection is completely different from premonition. Um, I wish I could astral project. I
Hmm.
would love to do that, um, but I can't. I do know we had a neighbor who
Oh yeah, he would
is
come to the show. Yeah.
yeah, he has since passed away, but he he was telling us about his, nightly excursions, and um, I don't know. I almost feel like it's kind of a form of meditation, and maybe it starts out as a meditation. I'm not very well versed on it, but I definitely think it's real. Just like I do think premonitions are real, I just don't think they're the same thing.
Hmm.
Um,
Do you
do
ever,
you have experience with that?
Me, sometimes I do have with premonitions type deal where you dream about something and all of a sudden it happens
I
6 months
do.
down the road.
Have you ever done it like when it may not be a dream, it's just something that you thought of. And then when you're driving down the road, it's like, I've been there, done that, and I need to get out of this lane. Jim on our team, he does this a lot. He said
Deja
this,
vu.
yeah, like deja vu.
Yeah.
This was something that popped up. He had to get out of this lane. And as he did, it really happened. A big truck's tire blew and that thing came flying at him. If he was in that lane, he said, I probably would have wrecked. Who knows?
Yeah.
And he
And
was on
that's
his
the
way
one
back.
thing is
Yeah.
it does happen to be. It's just like you go to some locations, like I've been here before, but I don't know how I've been here,
True.
Hey Jackie. And that's just sometimes that kind of freaks me out a little bit. It's like, I don't want to know anything about the future in a way. I just want life to play
No,
out
right?
as it is.
Yeah, I don't want to know what's happening tomorrow. That's creepy. But if you past lives, I mean,
Yeah.
I believe in past lives because I tell you what, the best past life that I think I've ever had was, Patty knows I love westerns, and I could live as a cowboy. I think I was an outlaw at one time because I just says, man, that is so cool. And I told her, I says, okay, we've done all these like vacations. I need to be a week in the cowboy days. Just give me a week.
Hmm.
And then she goes, okay, we'll do it. So I was like, well, looking at these ranches, they're more modern these days. I just want to be out west. I just want to experience some of that stuff, plus investigate some of the old places, Tombstone, OK Corral, all the good stuff.
Now that'll be your place to go then.
Yeah, I was like, man, that's right up my alley. Because
Right. Right.
when I watch these westerns, I just feel like, like that's home. Like you grew up, but you still go back to the neighborhood you grew up in. That's
Hmm.
home. So yeah,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
yeah, it's just isn't it weird though? But there's more to life than what we know.
Hmm. That is
More,
for sure. It's like you talk to a lot of people, and sometimes in this field, it catches up with people. They feel like they know pretty much everything in this field. I'm like,
no,
we haven't even touched
we haven't
a
even
percentage
scratched
of it.
surface because we too many egos and too many dramas.
Yeah, and
It
that's just
pushes
it.
everybody back because when I turn my timeline on in Facebook, I'm in a good mood. Then I want to throw my phone because it's like, oh my god, these people.
Yeah, it's just like, come on, we're all in it for the same thing, for the same reason. We're looking to see. I'm more on a scientific level of things. If I see something that works, let's try it in another spot and see if it works the same way. And if it does, share it to other people to make
Absolutely.
sure it works. Because
Absolutely.
I don't believe in hiding your stuff. That say Slickers. That's a good movie.
That's a fantastic movie.
But I mean that's just how I feel that we can make the paranormal feel better in a way, so it
Mhm.
helps understand people to understand better.
You know, that's why I started Ghostly Travels is, you know, my true name is Paravisions Paranormal Society. When I founded that name back in 2002, that's when we had dial AOL, you know, just dial up,
Hmm.
boom, I can still hear the sound. And I went online and I looked up Paravisions and I had S's instead of Z's. And oh, there's a documentary in the 90s. So I'm like, no, we don't want that. Hello, Ken.
Hmm.
And so then I sat there for a minute and I was like, I want Z's. So then I looked it up. I was like, no, there's nothing. And I like that paranormal paravisions, where this is a vision. Um,
Yeah,
and then I came up with my slogan: always keep looking into the unknown, because that's what we're doing. We're always keep looking into the unknown. And then
right.
just back in spring, you know, Patty and I were just talking. We're like, let's network with others. Let's get out there and do a, you know, and Ghostly Travels is not just for me and Patty, but other people on our team. If they want to use the name to go and investigate with someone else, it's just a branch off of Paravision. So that's why, you know, my PV and our logo is Vinny. Everybody knows Dark Side Inc. and Fall River Mass. He does a lot of shirts for a lot of the shows, Ghost Hunters,
Mhm.
Ghost Hunters Academy International, and all that. He designed my logo, which the PV in that is actually the Monster font, and he got permission from the Monster company to use it.
Wow.
And so that is our logo with the gargoyles. That is our true logo. And he did that at an event that we were putting on called Bellbrook on Lockdown here in Ohio. He drew that up within like a couple hours. And he said, "Come over here. What do you think?" And I'm like, "What'd you do? Trace this?" He goes, "No, that's hand drawn for you." I'm like, "What?" He goes, "Now I need to reach out because I think I see you always drinking Monster. And let me reach out to them to see if I can get their font." Sure enough, bam. I'm like, "You're the man."
That's funny. We learn a lot from you guys. Still, a lot to learn. Yes, yes.
And
This
me and
field
Jack,
is always evolving.
absolutely. And Jackie's a good karaoke singer too, by the
Yeah, I'm always big into experiments and stuff like that because
way. You gotta
I
be.
think that's fun to do
You
that
gotta step
stuff.
outside that box, you know?
Exactly. That's
Even if
my
it's
favorite
like
thing.
reenacting a scene.
Yeah.
And I did that in Waverly Hills years ago. We reenacted. We were filming with TV Middletown here, a local broadcast show,
Hmm.
and they went with us to Waverly Hills, and we were doing a weekly series on their show, and we took in a wheelchair. We had the doctor's outfit, nurse's outfit, patient. We had crutches, everything. We took with us and we filmed it. We actually stirred up a typhoon in that building. I'm talking the lady that was there, that the caretaker, she was actually down inside the laundry room. She called me on a two-way radio. "Are you guys okay over there?" And I'm actually in the wheelchair as the patient walking through. And sure enough, man, it got crazy to where you could hear with your own ears everybody, even the guy filming, not big into paranormal, but he said, "Stop, stop. I'm hearing people coughing in these rooms. I'm hearing screaming." And we got this all on audio and his camera picking it up. But what was sad is what it done to people that was there. It affected their lives afterwards, like weeks later. You know, I had to reach out to a medium that we know real well, and she actually cleansed me because I felt not myself. There was a couple there that just got married, but they went home and got a divorce. I'm like, it really screwed So sometimes that reenactment stuff can get a little scary, but like you say, you still got to step outside that box. We
Right.
got to
Right.
push the paranormal. And, you know, someone asked me something the other day, and I want to ask everybody, do you think that the good Lord, when we're getting all these answers to our questions and we're pursuing the paranormal, do you think that one day he's going to stop and say, "This is as far as you can go"? This is as
Nope.
far as I want you to know.
Nope.
I don't either, because he's also a son of God. And that was my answer. He's a son of God. So he had to walk this earth just like we did to get answers.
Yeah. I
And
mean, I
as
like to know as like the Ice Age stuff.
yeah, so whatever you're doing, if you're doing an investigation at a location and people are like, "Are you nuts?" No, say you damn right. If it takes it, damn right I'm nuts, because I'm trying to open up the next door.
Yeah. A lot of people that shake their head at me.
There he goes. Hold my beer and watch this.
Patty, so what are your feelings about psychic mediums and how they work and they do their things? And do you think doing seances with psychic mediums help, or is it kind of hurt things? What's your view on that?
Well, I'm extremely intrigued by psychic mediums, and I have had a couple of readings. It's kind of disconcerting when you're paying someone for a reading. I understand that for many of them, that's their livelihood. I get that. But at the same time, you know, we don't charge for investigations because we feel A, it's not a proven science, but also we feel like if someone is paying us, they are expecting a result, they're expecting something.
Right.
So I can say that one reading that I have had, I feel was extremely legit. Um, it was not a person I'd ever met in person, and they brought up things that I don't know how they would have found them out about me. It's definitely not things I would ever post on my Facebook or that I'm aware of are out there online. Um, I also did used to love investigating with a psychic medium because in my mind I was like, wow, they can actually see these spirits, these entities, and you know, there was a lady in particular we worked with, and we were at the Ridges in Ohio University.
Hmm.
And so we had permission to be in there because, you can't just go in and investigate. Um, and we were in the part of the building where there's a body stain, reputedly a body stain on the floor. And our medium friend was seated, and she was talking, and I remember Lee and another team member were at the far end of the room, kind of doing what they did back then, and I was standing across from the psychic. And when we investigate, typically my hair is up like this. Lee always says that's how he knows I'm in the zone. It's kind of out of the way. I can hear. So
Before we
anyway, I
go
was
on
standing.
investigation, I'm always saying, "Hey, did you pull your hair up?"
Did you bring your hair tight? Yeah.
Yeah.
Usually
So
it's when a lady puts her hair up, it's like, okay, it's time to run.
that's right.
Well, and her
Well,
being from
that's
New
that's me
Jersey
being
too,
serious.
it's like, you better run, man.
And so I'm standing across from the medium, and I had my arms crossed, and I was holding my voice recorder. And she is talking. She's talking about what happened to this young lady, and how this supposed body stain came to be. And I remember standing there, and all of a sudden, I felt this ice cold hand on the back of my neck. And I quickly turned. I thought, Lee or one of the other guys had walked up, and no one was there. And the medium looks at me and she goes, "Oh, yeah, Patty, she's right beside you." And I'm like, well, shit, that would have been nice to know before I
I need to
jolted
go
and
change my
freaked out.
drawers now.
Yeah. 'Cause, I mean, the impression was that the spirit was a handicapped individual. And, you know, I felt horrible because I was like, what the hell was that? I mean, you get startled.
Hmm.
So to me, investigating with a psychic, always was very intriguing. And I was so jealous, like, gosh, they can actually see them and they can hear them.
Hmm.
But more recently, I've started getting a little bit more curious. I am very skeptical.
Hmm.
And, our team knows that. And if
It's
something
healthy though.
happens,
Yeah,
absolutely.
absolutely.
If I did it to Lee the other night, we heard the sound and I'm like, wait, stop, back up and take those 2 steps again. Like, was it you? I have to make sure.
Well,
And
just like, and everybody investigates, right? And our bellies make noises. So that was my belly. It wasn't
Mhm.
a demon. But so many
right,
people would be like, what was that? And they, it was their belly.
Yeah, I
right.
definitely considered it on the recorder, so I was like, "Tag."
Yeah, tag.
I appreciate the gifts of mediums, and again, yes, I'm very jealous of it. But at the same time, I'm not discounting their experiences in a location, but I have yet to see anyone with backup. And
Yeah,
so, you know, um, that makes me curious. We've been to places with a medium, and then we have gone back without them and had a totally different experience. So, that's where Lee and I talk, and we think maybe the experience we had was more related to someone with us, not the
Yeah,
location.
instead of us. Yeah.
yeah,
There's just so much uncertainty. I think that's what kind of keeps me coming back, really. You know,
right. I mean,
um,
I'd like to see a medium be like what's the word I'm trying to think of here? The painter, Bob.
Bob Ross.
Um,
Yeah.
Bob Ross, yes. He can. They could actually draw a picture of what they're seeing right away instead of like trying to explain it. They can actually physically draw it at the end of the night and say, "Hey, this is what I've been
Absolutely.
seeing."
And then,
I
yeah,
think
when you
that'd be
see it,
pretty cool.
yeah, I'd be like, oh, wow, that's what you're talking to, man? Damn.
Yeah,
That's
I mean, it's
behind
kind of like
you?
Amy Allen's show with the
Yeah,
guy
that's right.
drawing stuff, but that's to me, it's a show, but I like to see it in person.
yeah,
Yeah,
I'm
that would
with
be,
you
yeah,
there. And
I totally agree.
yeah, that was definitely one of my shows to watch and fall asleep to. Yeah, Lee's going to tell you every time we put the Dead Files on, I would fall asleep.
Isn't
It
there a
was
mom one
late.
with that? She said that's the one she likes to watch, but it's the one she goes to sleep to.
It was late, and I get up early. We have discussed this.
2 minutes in and she's out. Just the noise. Or just seeing Amy's face as she's explaining what she's doing in her
Yeah,
walk.
I'm over here snoring.
I'm
Um,
like, I love her facial expressions. You're over there.
I, I did go back and watch them, but
Yeah.
no, I agree. And then to see the I don't know, the expressions when they're like, oh, and oh, here's the sketch that Amy had. And then, Steve's over there like, I think I know who she's talking about. And he whips out this picture and it looks just like the guy, like,
Or Steve's face when she draws the demon and he goes, oh, damn. I don't,
yeah, I don't
Yeah.
want to show you guys this.
yeah, to the homeowners. And they're like, oh my God. And they start crying.
Well, I mean, it's like once you find out what it is that they're seeing, they draw. It's like it totally changes the complexion of the investigation. Like, okay, now we have to switch gears this way.
Mhm.
You
Yes.
know, and I think that's a good lead into stuff, and I like that approach to it. So,
Yeah.
but I mean, it's one of those things that I don't know. That's something that it just kind of popped in my head a little bit here to just listen to her talk, and it's like,
Yeah.
you know. So let's get into a little bit of gear. Let's start with you, Patty. What is your favorite piece of gear that you use on investigation, and what is a piece of gear that you feel is a waste of complete time?
Hmm. My favorite is the Ovilus
Okay.
being, and that is simply because, um, I always forget which version we have, but we've got the screen. And so when it speaks and then you've got the screen, there's no question what it has said.
We've actually got the old versions, their first Oviluses, the A and B, Rev A and Rev B. That people, I saw prices. I'm like $5,000. You can buy it from me if you
No, we
want
are
it.
not. We're
No,
not
Yeah, I think
selling.
the 5B is the current version right now.
Yeah. So we got the very first ones Bill Chappell made.
Um,
And she loves it because it's got the data reader.
right. Again, I'm looking for that proof all the time. And I would what is the one that I always want? I want
You
the
want what
puck,
they call the
right?
puck. Yeah.
Yeah, I want the puck. But what do I think is a complete waste of time?
Which
Gosh.
one?
No, I don't know. That's what I'm trying to
The one
think.
that wasted that you thought was no good?
Yeah, well, that was his question. What do I
Yeah.
think is I won't say it's a waste of time, but one of my least favorite, and I'll probably get a lot of shit for it, are cat balls. Not a fan of cat balls.
And
Um,
that's this industry is healthy for opinions. Not everybody
absolutely.
loves everything. So
Yeah. I have seen them malfunction. Uh, and yeah, I've seen them go off unexplainably.
mhm.
I'm just not a fan of them. Uh,
Yeah, and I don't
And
I
that's
get
like,
okay. That's
yeah, and I
okay though.
don't get the on that. I don't get the cat ball holder because if a battery's going to go bad in it, it's still going to falsify regardless.
Mhm.
Um, but we have them, but you know what? We haven't used them in a long time.
Right.
It's like
I
just
mean, there's that outside the box type deal stuff I like to do.
yeah. You know what? No, I
Mhm.
will share something really cool. It's not one of my favorites, but we're networking with other people and seeing some of the techniques and some of the things they use that we have, like the
Mhm.
dowsing rods. We always
I can't keep my
question,
hands steady.
yeah, we always question the person holding those dowsing rods, right? Well, this guy that we were actually watching, he made these wood cones and set them on the table and set them right down inside, nobody touching it, and they would just go off by themselves. I said, dude, that is cool right there. I said, you're
Yeah.
not using anything electrical, you're using dowsing rods, and nobody's holding it. And hats off to Roger. That was the really coolest thing. Me and Jay was just blown away. I was like, I've never seen this. Because he said, oh, I like using the dowsing rods. And I'm like, to myself, oh, here we go with one of those people. So when he pulled them out and he set them inside those things, I'm like, okay. And we actually set a REM pod by it, the male REM pod, which was really cool.
Mhm.
And but yeah, you've got all of this equipment out there that everybody uses. We all love it. When new stuff comes out, I'm one of the first. I've got cases and cases and cases of equipment. I want it. I want to explore with it. And sometimes Patty's like, "Yeah, I want that." She wants paranormal puck. I can't find one. He's not making them anymore now. I hope Ghost Stop does make one, and I'll buy it because he
Yeah, is
did.
that ghost gear?
Ghost Stop.
Well, I mean with the puck. That doesn't Ghost Gear have one of those?
I don't know if they do or not. I'd have to check. If they do, I would definitely want to do some research.
Yeah. Ghost Gear's got some neat stuff. The Piccolo and Yes No box. The Epic box is what they got.
Yeah, we just bought the Epic box that makes the sound.
Yeah.
Now that is one that I was a little skeptic on, but when you ask a certain question and you get an automatic answer, and then other devices go off at the same time,
Mhm.
then I'm going, okay, they're onto something.
Right.
Just like I just see Patty's talking about the Spirit Talker, the apps on the phone. A lot of people
Yeah.
don't love the apps.
Yeah. I use Spirit Talker all the time because that's one of my favorite ones. I used to
Me
use
too.
Necrophonics and then
Yes.
Spiritus. I don't like Spiritus at all. But necrophonics, it's okay. But again, I don't care for the pink noise, the white noise stuff because it gives me a headache after 20 minutes of using it.
Yeah, totally agree.
So Spirit Talker, I think I like it a lot more because it comes up with unique stuff. It comes up with phrases, and it has a log box where you go back and tells you what time things was said.
Absolutely. We were at
So
Whispers Estate Saturday night, and Patty was in Rachel's room. I was in Gary's room, and I'm sitting in a chair by the closet that's supposed to. People say you can see the knob turning, the door open. I'm sitting there, and she's got her spirit talker going on. She's got stuff in there, and I set my phone on the bed, and I'm sitting in the chair across the way. And being an empath, I'm doing a TikTok live,
mm-hmm.
and being an empath, I just felt like somebody is watching me. And I was explaining, and I'm like telling Patty, I was like, if all of a sudden it felt like somebody came into the room, I felt the cool breeze, and someone took a heated blanket and covered me up. And
Ooh.
instant when I felt that, I felt totally tired. Like my energy drained. We just started investigating like 30 minutes prior. I felt totally drained. And I've got the camera facing the doorway where this was happening, and people on TikTok was watching. Patty was in the room at the time. The spirit talker says, "We are watching you," and all of a sudden, in the camera from my phone down the hallway, the lamp comes on, and that says, "We're watching you." And I said, "Hold on." I says, "I don't know what's happening right now." I says, "But I'm feeling really weird." And for that to all about, go into play. And I was like, see, there's a good example. People say, oh, phone apps, they use all of your data and different things. And I'm like, really? For something like that?
Yeah.
And I've heard stories where people say, if they didn't listen to Spirit Talker, their house would have burned down.
Yeah.
So there is.
It's the best $4 I spent.
Exactly.
You don't need to spend $20 on certain apps.
Yeah. Have
sometimes
you ever checked the? I don't know if anyone's ever used it.
Hey, Carmen.
I saw it on the Paranormal Files, the Necrometer.
Yeah, I use that.
Do you? Is it a good one? Is it worth $10?
I think it's worth the $10. I think it does a little bit more than what Necrophonics does. It's much more like online, like Spirit Talker.
Okay.
You could change the voice to make it sound scarier, but I don't recommend it.
Yeah, I don't need that. I just want.
But it does. It's very. It's accurate too. So I like them both. So I have them both.
Now, when I use Necrophonic, real quick, when I use Necrophonic, I don't know if you, but it seems like it goes into German mode.
Well, I don't use it enough. I kind of walked away from it because it's like I'm not very good at the SS method. I always usually have people do it besides me, and I ask the questions because I'm better at asking. You have to have a trained ear when it comes to SS method and stuff like that, and I always have a hard time with that because I work in a factory, so my ears are not. I don't trust them enough. But for certain things, and when people can handle the white noise, then I let them do it. So,
yeah, absolutely. And I'm a little skeptic on the Estes method.
And there's different ways. I mean, you got the Delco method, Delco experiment with the goggles and all that stuff too.
Yeah, with the lamp.
Yeah, I just I don't know if I care for that as much. It's kind of like you're in VR mode,
Yeah.
And then they got the VR headset with Ghost Tube and all that stuff, and I don't know. Sometimes those things I think they're way above and beyond what they need to be. They make things more difficult.
Yeah, they make it more difficult than what it should be.
But tactics like outside the box. I like using cards, like game cards, ESP cards. I'll use Tesla coils, Tesla guns, a Metrodome. I'll use like balloons with lights in them. Stuff like that. Just go outside the box and not have to use the normal toys everybody else uses because you get bored of using the same stuff over and over.
Oh, absolutely.
So, and I think trigger objects too, when it comes to locations, I always look ahead. Okay, I'm going here, and I go to my friend. Okay, what would be good for this location to make a special trigger object for this location.
Yeah.
A
pack of cigarettes out of jail,
Yeah, I got a buddy that makes cigarette REM pods.
Really? That's cool.
Yes, Travis Wazaki is from Wazaki Paranormal. He makes them.
Cool.
And they're not expensive either. They're about $60.
That's not yeah, just certain little things,
Right. And then I also told him too, in today's society, even more so I would say 20 years ago today, people are still the same way with coffee. They're big coffee drinkers. So I'm like, can you, like, if I get like a Stanley cup or whatever, can you turn that into a REM pod for coffee and put like a packet of coffee in there to get the smell out?
Yeah.
So that's just one of those things how I look at things.
Oh, yeah.
But
we have a bag that's nothing but trigger objects, with little baby dolls and cars and
the jacks, cards, jacks, toys, cars, just you name it. Just little things because you like you say, you go into different locations. You want to bring something back. Like I investigated years ago a VFW.
Okay.
And
I've heard of that.
That doing, and like an American Legion or something. But we went in there and we actually said we were with had the Booth brothers in, and they were filming. And he goes, "Oh man, I had cigars burning, I had cigarettes burning, I had big cans of beer popped open. I poured it a little bit on the counter, like if you was drinking, some spilled. I brought that atmosphere back, and the activity was just crazy."
Right.
So I was like really
original.
Yeah. So I wanted, that's stepping out of the box instead of just setting a REM pod on the bar, or just setting a recorder up there. And then also what I did is I set up my laptop and I was just playing old country tunes that those guys would listen to, and they're chatting with their buddies.
Right. All right. Well, we got original in here. Can we say no? Please do not say the N-word in here, please. No. That I don't appreciate that word at all. But yeah, Denise, she was talking about the cigarette packs of Travis Wazaki, because she investigates with him every once in a while.
Okay.
So definitely take a look at him.
Can you send me his information? I would like to look him up.
Yeah, he's in Council Bluffs, Iowa. So
okay.
Definitely get a hold of. I'll send you his link to his paranormal page and stuff.
Yeah, I would love to look him up. Yeah.
So we're getting close. Hey, Vincent, how you doing?
I think this needs to go.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. You get that.
Yep. Well, I just ignore him. So we're getting close to the end of the podcast, anyways. So original can make his way out. So I got a few questions. These are the fun questions, and we definitely have to do another podcast because I think there's a lot that I haven't really got out yet.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So the question is, so what's one haunted object in the world, only one, that you would never want to be haunted?
Oh, that's a good question.
One object that you would never want to be haunted.
Correct. What would you never want to be haunted? Thanks, Amy.
That's a tough one, man.
Well, you know what? I want to say my car. I hope it never is haunted when I drive it.
Well, that's one of the answers.
Yeah. During the process of me driving it. Now, me owning Christine, the original car, that'd be cool.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I would have to say my car. Because
Patty?
Man, um, one
I make it
object I
tough.
would never want to be haunted. Yeah, I'm gonna say like for me, it's got to be something very personal, like um,
Could be anything. And I have parental advisory up, so.
there you go.
yeah. I'm going with, like my wedding dress or something, and I don't know why it would be, but just something very personal to me.
Uh-huh.
Uh, everyone always wants a haunted house until you have one.
Exactly.
And
Where I'm at sitting right now.
yeah, I saw someone just
I
said the
want that
toilet. Yeah,
What are you
I don't
going
want the
with?
toilet to be haunted.
Ding, ding, ding. That is the number one answer.
Is it really
Yeah,
the toilet?
The
And I'm
toilet is the number one answer.
wow.
that's hilarious.
Yeah, it's the other one is Jesus. This guy is nonstop. Oh wow.
He's going through so many pages. It's unreal.
He called us friends, yeah.
I can let him be. So there is one that really brought up a good one is and it was just right out of the mouth, no hesitation. This was on another radio show that I do radio shows as well. And she said butt plug.
Yeah, there you go.
Oh my.
Yeah, you wouldn't want that.
No.
I'm like that. Wow, are you sure you want to think about that? And right out of the mouth.
Yeah, no hesitation. She's just going to tell
No
you.
hesitation.
Yeah.
I'm like, that always comes back like that's a killer for me, and it's like, man.
Yeah. Sex toys, please don't be haunted.
Now the flip side of that, what is one object in the world that you would like to be haunted? I would like my car to be haunted because it could drive me everywhere.
That's okay.
Now I got the wheels going.
Yeah. I'm thinking
Yeah.
here though. What I want to
Well,
be.
I'm going straight to hell, but I would like some. Oh God, I
You're
can't
talking
even say it.
evil.
Yeah, I
You
would
said?
like
I'm with
someone's
Darren.
prosthetic.
Go ahead. Oh, I'm with Darren on my car after an investigation when we're driving 2 hours. I'm like, just please get me home. Pick me up. Put me home. Beam me up.
Watch out for that deer.
Yeah, exactly. 'Cause, Saturday night, it was a 3-hour drive from Whispers to the house, and I was like, we got to drive home because Patty's got to get on the road, and so for work, and so I was like driving. She's getting comfortable over there, and I'm like, looked up like, please just pick me up and put me in the driveway right now. But I don't know, something that I want to be haunted. As I say, we already got a haunted cat. She came from Randolph County Asylum.
Mm.
I would like someone's like prosthetic arm or leg to be haunted.
Oh,
And then they could,
jeez.
then they could beat people, and
Jeez.
I could drop an address by them. Or like a YouTube name, something like that, that would be good.
What?
I like to use it for evil.
Hey, now we're not supposed to be talking about evil stuff here.
I know.
Oh, that's right. That's right. I forgot.
Disclaimer.
Yeah, right.
So here's the toughest one. This is the final fun question. Again, what's one object in the world that you would never want to hold?
Oh, I already know that. Pile of shit.
Jesus.
I'm going straight there. I don't want to hold none of that. Well, I already did, babe. What are you talking about? Jesus, we were
Yeah,
on an
he did.
investigation. This is no shit. We were at an investigation over in Shelbyville, Indiana. The restaurant was called the Panzerotti, and the owner, super nice guy, had a little dog, like a little Maltese. And he walked us around and he goes, "Okay, I'm out of here. So have a good night. And doors locked behind you." I was like, "Okay, call me if you need me." So we're 4 hours in there investigating, and we're sitting in the dining area. Now they just closed this, right? At 6, cleaned up. They left. We met him, and then we did our walkthrough. Boom. So it's a couple hours in. We're sitting in the restaurant area, and we're sitting at tables. I go to sit at a table, and my foot rolled across like the salt shaker, like. I'm like, what the hell? So I went, reached down as I'm talking to them, pick it up, lay it on as I'm laying it down, I shine a flashlight. I said, "That ain't a damn salt shaker. That's a turd." And I was like, "Somebody sat here a few hours ago with this turd on the," they're dying laughing. They're like, "Oh my God." I was like,
Oh,
only me would pick up the damn dog shit.
Patty?
That was terrible. For me, it would be something at like one of the concentration camps. And
Oh, like the
yeah,
Holocaust.
absolutely. I mean,
Yes.
our son lives in Vienna, Austria, and a couple of years ago he was living in Salzburg, and I visited him there, and we went to Dachau,
Hmm.
and it's just an amazing experience. But I honestly, I was very careful about what I touched. I mean, um, I would not want, uh, I would not want any of that juju with me.
Yeah.
Well, when she was posting those pictures just so I could see them, she was putting them on Facebook because her and our daughter went over. Facebook was automatically shutting it down.
Right.
Especially, oh yeah. And I'm like, these freaking idiots, man. Yeah, they were shutting her down quick. I was like, well, she said, "I posted them." I was like, "No, you didn't." Because if you did, somebody said, "Not today, Satan."
That's funny. That's funny. Well, today was a great interview. Thank you guys for coming on. Definitely have to have you come back. We'll get into some other topics and stuff like that.
That's fun.
Like I
Absolutely.
said, my outreach is pretty decent. Obviously, I got some other people in here that I didn't care for in the chat, but um, it happens, you know. Um, so yeah, this is what I usually like to do. Is for those that don't know who you are, I like to get that out there, and so people know who you are, and it's just how it goes, you know. I appreciate you guys coming on and taking their time and opportunity to be on here.
Absolutely.
Um, so, do you guys have stuff coming up that you want to promote, or what your next investigation is, and how can people get a hold of you?
We are working on a few things. We don't have a lot really set up, and we just fly by night. Um, we are helping a residential this Saturday night down in
Hmm.
Cincinnati, and we are working. We do a lot of things with tourism groups.
Okay.
So Kentucky, we're going to be in London, Kentucky, and I think the weekend's going to be October the 18th. We're going to be, we do a group thing where people can come out and investigate with us. We're going to be at Camp Wildcat that weekend. That's fun. Don't know where else we're going to be. I'm talking to the tourism person. We're getting that set up. But you can reach us. You can find us at Facebook at Paravisions Paranormal Society. You can also find us on YouTube. You can find us on Instagram and TikTok. So,
Now, just kind of real quick question. social media, when you're live, do you feel that it's a benefit or do you think it's a distraction?
I think it's a distraction most of the time because you see over here what's going on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. So So when you're trying to be serious and you're doing, you're trying to show people like, you're showing them what you're going through,
Mm-hmm.
and then you're doing good. Then also you get this sour apple that pops in.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's got its ups and it's got its downs.
Do you prefer YouTube or TikTok?
I've done a lot more TikTok, but now I'm swinging towards YouTube now. So
Okay. Patty, how do you feel?
I definitely think it's a distraction. Lee knows me. He knows I constantly am on his case about put your phone away, put your phone away. Um, I don't even have TikTok, so I never got sucked into that, and I'm kind of jumping into YouTube a little bit more.
Mm-hmm.
Just watching again. Our son's girlfriend has started up a channel. That's that sort of thing. So just trying to support her, and um, I do some crocheting. I do watch a lot of YouTube for that. So
and
Okay.
lately too, we've been watching a lot of teams and individuals in the paranormal. Like locations that like before we went to Western State, looking up, seeing who's been there. What did they put
Right.
out there? What is some of the stuff that we can look into while we're there?
Mm-hmm.
Also, I've been watching a lot of it too because all the years I've never really been into doing the editing and all that till recently. Now I'm starting to get hooked. So I'm watching how people are doing their techniques by their intros to get into
Yeah.
the climax and then coming down and then ending their show. I mean, there's some shows out there that's 3-4 hours long, and I'm like, that's just too much, you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
But a good 45, 50 minutes of that's a good YouTube. That's a good show, I think. And you're sharing everything from the history, the tour, the
Mm-hmm.
investigation, the reveal, and good night.
Right. Right. Yeah. Editing takes a while. Sometimes I hate it when you do something that's for 20 minutes and take 2 hours to edit.
Yeah, so yeah, and it's just like investigating where we tell people, hey, they were like, oh, I really want to do what you guys do, and I'm like, well, Patty's the same way, and you're the same. You probably tell everybody the same thing. It's not just going in and having a good time in a scary place because you want to document with audio, video, and then you got to go back and you got to review all of that, and you're going to do it
Mm-hmm.
over and over until because if you get something good on audio or you get something good on video, you want other people to see. And what's your opinion before I put this out there?
Yeah.
There's a
Yeah.
lot of times. So I'm like, guys, it's not just, oh, let me get a team, let me get some black t-shirts, let's get in front of a prison, let's have those poses like this, let's go in there and investigate it and be done. That's a thrill seeker to me. Almost 30 years into this field, I'm gonna call you a thrill seeker. You're not what we call a paranormal investigator. You're not doing your research. You got a group of people together. You want to go pay to go in this building, pay and play. That's all you're doing.
Yeah. Yeah, I
But
got a lot of stuff that I get out there too. A lot of times I'll throw something out there and I'll say, hey, if you're gonna tear it apart, that's fine. I'm okay with it because it doesn't
yeah,
matter to me. It's
absolutely.
because everybody has their opinions,
Yep.
and it's with orbs as well. Orbs is a big deal where you get someone like, oh, we got millions of orbs here. I'm like, come on, it's all dust.
Did it just rain where you were, bud?
It's like I was like, man, I've only seen like 3 orbs my whole life.
I've only seen maybe a few as well. Just recently at a something that I do too is I work with historical societies,
Yep.
and one here in Waynesville, Ohio, where I had Ghost Nation come in because we're part of TAP's family as well, the Ohio
Mm-hmm.
team, and so I had them come in, and we work real close with them because years ago, back in 2003, I started reaching out to historical societies because I thought, okay, Ghost Hunters is new. You heard a little bit about GAC at that time. People are intrigued by paranormal. People love history.
Yep.
So, and doing my full-time job as a fire person, I, go into these buildings. We have to check fire alarm because it's a museum. So they're
Right.
like, yeah, all this is a donation. It's charity. That's how we survive. and we're all volunteers. So I came up with a great idea at that time. I was like, hey, I'm going to reach out to the board. When can I come into a meeting? I would love to investigate your location, but that's not what it's all about. I want to make you money. And they're like, well, what do you mean? I want to share paranormal history. You charge a ticket fee. All proceeds go to you because we don't charge for our services. They're like, really? You want to come in here? You want to teach people a little Ghost Class 101, and then you want to do a little mini investigation with the people that paid, and we get the proceeds? Yeah. And it blew up to where I was actually in 2004. I was in Columbus, Ohio at the Historical Society, the corporate office, and they asked me to do every county in Ohio. And at first I was like, sure. So I started reaching out to people and teams. And at that time, Paravisions, I had over 400 and something members.
Mm-hmm.
And then I just told them, I can't do it. You know, you guys just start your own teams up there. You focus on those historical societies. And I kept Waynesville, and we do 3 classes a year. We love it. The Friends Home Museum is awesome. And it's worked since, and I've been there. It's 20 years already. So
yeah, I like the historical societies. Sorry, starting when I'm talking, but it's getting late. And I'm getting tired.
Absolutely.
So yeah, we'll pick up another episode, and I'll get that out there and let you know when we can pick that all back up again. I want to thank everybody for joining us tonight on the Paranormal Brew and BB3 TV networks. And if you do not have Facebook, go to YouTube under MGS Paranormal 4258 and join us there. So for Patty and for Lee, thank you all for joining us tonight.
Absolutely. Thank you for having us. And I want to share everybody always keep looking into the unknown.
Absolutely. And Lee's going to be back on StreamYard doing shows too as well. So,
yeah. And you'll be getting an invite to come on.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
So grab your brew, sit back.
Absolutely. Yeah. I'll have a Corona.
There you go. Corona Rita. They're popular right now.
I bet.
Well, thanks again, Darren, for having us. We really had a great time.
Absolutely. Love to get to know new people. So with that, I bid everybody a good week, and I bid you adieu. So long, everybody.
See you.